Although I think it's topical to the item that we're debating, which is to proceed to the Violence Against Women's Act, I wanted to take a moment to highlight a couple of egregious examples around the world where young girls and women are being threatened by violence and what remains a scourge throughout the planet. And then we'll focus here at home as well. But on April 17th, for example, this is a pretty shocking incident. On April 17th, about 115 Afghan schoolgirls were poisoned after drinking contaminated water. It appears by all signals that it was a deliberate contamination of the water. They were poisoned and they're blaming it on conservative radicals that are opposed to female education. And so there's evidence that suggests that 150 girls in Afghanistan were poisoned because they went to school. This is happening in the 21st century. A new Human Rights Commission on Pakistan report comes out and says that there were 943 Pakistani women killed in 2011, and they were killed for, quote, honor, unquote. Of the 953 victims, 93 were minors. Of the 595 of the women that were killed in 2011 were accused of having, quote, illicit relations, unquote, and 219 of them were accused of marrying without permission. Again, this is the 21st century we're talking about. These things are happening. In fact, in 2010, the report says that there were 791 honor killings in Pakistan of women. Here's one that's really disturbing and very sick. In South Africa, a group of youth males in Soweto were filmed raping a 17-year-old girl who was believed to be mentally ill. In fact, the hashtag rape video was trending on Twitter in South Africa on Wednesday. It's estimated by some organizations that a woman is raped every 26 seconds in South Africa. There's a report that is, with regards to this specific Soweto rape, the men promised the girl 25 cents if she kept silent. Now let's turn to our hemisphere for a moment, where tragically, of the 25 countries around the world with the highest homicide rate for women, 14 are in Latin America and the Caribbean, according to a recent survey by a Geneva-based research organization called the Small Arms Survey. The three most dangerous countries for women were El Salvador, Jamaica, and Guatemala, respectively. As a region, a UN study found in 2011 that the Americas, including the United States and Canada, were ranked second only to Africa for female homicide rates. While females represent only 10% of murder victims in the Americas, the sheer level of violence in the region, particularly in Latin America, puts women at risk. Here at home, I was honored a few weeks ago to sign a letter along with Senator Kirk and Senator Blumenthal and Senator Cornyn, where we wrote to about 40 organizations, this was back on April 12th, to ask them to inform them that the parent company of the Village Voice publications that they are advertising on owns Backpage.com, an online classified advertising website that's linked to dozens of child trafficking cases in this country. And what we asked was that these companies and their charitable organizations and public and educational and cultural institutions, that they work together and that they use their economic influence to stop this from happening, to stop this online child sex trafficking that's being facilitated by sites such as this. What I want to report to you today is that there's been some progress. Already this letter is having an impact. We've had representatives from two recipients of the letter have responded to the companies that they will quickly act to end their advertising activities on the Village Voice publications. The fact of the matter is that what I just outlined to you now is happening here in the United States of America. I highlighted things that are happening around the world, and I highlighted a case of something we can be doing about right now here in the United States. The reason why I say that, and why I come to the floor on occasion to speak about human rights violations that are happening around the world and in our own country, is to remind us that atrocities are not just something that happened in history. They're happening today. That if you just open a newspaper and open your eyes, you will find modern-day atrocities that rival things you read about in history, that you would believe are unimaginable or impossible that they are occurring in this century, and yet they are. Here in our country, you have instances such as this, where an estimated number of up to 300,000 children could potentially be at risk. 300,000 people, young women, children, etc., could be at risk in our hemisphere to be victims of human trafficking. Part of that happens here in our own country. We have an obligation to focus on issues like this. And so we will continue to use this forum and any opportunity we get to highlight human rights abuses that are happening across the world and in our own country, because awareness is always the first step towards confronting these issues. The notion that you could somehow get away with this without condemnation encourages people to do more of it, encourages people to think they can get away with it, encourages people to think that it may even be culturally acceptable. It is not culturally acceptable for any civilized people to stand by and watch human beings being enslaved or trafficked or abused or targeted. We cannot stand by silently and argue, and I'm not claiming that anybody in this chamber does this, but argue that somehow it is culturally acceptable to carry out an honor killing of a woman because she got married without someone's permission. That's outrageous and it's absurd. It has no place in our world. And if this nation is to remain a leader on human rights, then those of us who serve it have an obligation to use forums such as this to call attention to egregious examples like the ones I've used today and to condemn them with the loudest voice possible. And so in the weeks and months to come, I hope to continue to come to the floor and provide not just examples of abuses that are happening around the world, but also examples like the one that I finished off with today. That is examples of how we, working together in this chamber across party aisle, can work collaboratively to do something about it. And this letter to the advertisers on Backpage.com and the Village Voice is just one example of the things we can be doing to ensure that we condemn and put a stop to some of these most heinous practices.